I stepped off the plane to a scenic island, expecting nothing but sunshine and relaxation. Less than 2 weeks later, I woke up trembling in a hospital bed, struggling for every breath. These chilling words come from a shocked holidaymaker who traveled abroad to chase the perfect summer escape, only to be confronted with a hidden menace that could lurk in almost any hotel or cruise ship's water system. What exactly went wrong? Was it the lush resort's enticing swimming pool, the refreshing shower in her suite, or the comforting warmth of a hot tub under the stars? Today we dive into the alarming realm of Legionnaires' disease, exploring how an unsuspecting British tourist found herself in a coma, why health experts are raising urgent warnings to travelers everywhere, and how a simple, pocket-sized test kit might just save your life this summer. Welcome to our deep dive into one of the most unsettling health scares you never realized you needed to worry about. Yes, you heard that right. While many of us fret over the usual coughs, colds, or stomach bugs when we pack up for our dream vacation, few of us consider the risk of a potentially fatal lung infection. And yet, here we stand with a seriously disturbing story of a woman named Donna from Hull, 57 years old, who left for a relaxing getaway on the idyllic Greek island of Crete, only to come home fighting for every breath in an intensive care unit. In this discussion, we will shine a bright spotlight on what Legionnaires' disease is, why it thrives in warm weather, and the subtle but life-threatening symptoms you need to watch for. In this episode, we will unravel the illusions of a so-called paradise, as we discover how water droplets, seemingly harmless, can carry a microscopic danger that may leave you gasping for air. Why standing water in hot tubs, showers, or air conditioning systems can become a breeding ground for Legionella. The critical timeline of infection, from inhaling the bacteria-laden moisture to the harrowing hospitalization of unsuspecting travelers. What's practical strategies to protect yourself? From checking the shower head upon arrival to using a rapid testing kit if there's any lingering doubt about water safety. Our story begins with Donna, a Hull resident who had been looking forward to an indulgent, all-inclusive vacation in Crete. It was supposed to be a relaxing time, sun loungers by the pool, cool beverages in hand, glorious sunsets each evening. Nobody anticipates that an overseas retreat could transform into a personal health nightmare, yet that is precisely what happened. Donna's trip took a horrifying turn when she started experiencing muscle aches, severe fatigue, and a cough that refused to let up. Those symptoms, in truth, were just the tip of the iceberg. She fell gravely ill, and by the 11th of June, her condition deteriorated to the point where she was rushed to receive urgent medical attention, eventually placed in an induced coma to support her collapsing lungs. For over 2 nerve-wracking weeks, she lingered between life and death while doctors did all they could to tackle the infection ravaging her body. Finally, on the 25th of June, she opened her eyes, confused as to why there were tubes in her nose and wires monitoring her every heartbeat. Doctors informed her that she had contracted Legionnaires' disease, a severe lung infection caused by inhaling water droplets tainted with Legionella bacteria. If you have never heard of Legionella before, you are not alone. Many travelers embark on their trips blissfully unaware of this silent danger. So, let's demystify it swiftly. Legionnaires' disease is triggered by Legionella bacteria, which prefer water temperatures between 20 and 45 degrees Celsius, meaning warm, but not boiling. This is why hotels in hot destinations and areas with poorly maintained water systems can become prime breeding grounds. Large air conditioning systems, neglected taps or shower heads, decorative fountains, hot tubs, and spa pools that are not regularly disinfected can become tinderboxes for this formidable pathogen. The tragedy lies in how the disease is transmitted. You cannot catch it by drinking water. Instead, you become infected by inhaling mist or vapor containing the bacteria. That is why air conditioning systems and even the mist from a whirlpool can pose hidden risks. By the time you realize you have a significant health issue, you could be facing a raging pneumonia that demands immediate medical intervention. This is precisely the predicament that befalls many unsuspecting tourists. In Donna's case, authorities have not confirmed the exact source, though the local hotel has expressed its willingness to cooperate with health officials in investigating whether or not its water features or climate control systems might have harbored the bacteria. Meanwhile, an alert was raised by concerned medical professionals and circulated by the European Center for Disease Prevention and Control, indicating that a confirmed case of Legionnaires' disease had emerged in Crete. Donna's horrific ordeal highlights the all-too-real threat that bacteria can present, particularly in summer. Hot temperatures create an ideal environment for Legionella to flourish in water storage tanks, shower heads, or pipes that have sat unused for weeks or months. A simple turn of the faucet can release a spray of nearly invisible droplets. Once inside your lungs, the pathogen can trigger an aggressive infection that inflames the air sacs, leading to symptoms like muscle aches, headaches, high fever, debilitating fatigue, and a relentless dry cough. But the real question is, should any of us allow this threat to sour our summer travel plans altogether? Fortunately, there are steps you can take to protect yourself without sacrificing the joys of sun-drenched beaches and picturesque getaways. Stay with us, because a few minutes from now, we will reveal exactly why health experts are urging travelers to pack a humble but remarkably effective piece of equipment. Before we dive deeper, let's reflect on the sobering detail that hundreds or even thousands of unsuspecting travelers may encounter Legionella on their journeys each year. Some might suffer mild flu-like symptoms without ever pinpointing the culprit as Legionnaires' disease. Others tragically develop a life-threatening pneumonia that, if untreated, or if the person's immune system is weak, can prove fatal. That is why quick diagnosis and treatment are paramount. Physicians typically rely on antibiotics, oxygen support, and close monitoring to guide patients back to health. Watching Donna from Hull wake up, tubes embedded in her arms and nose, underscores a crucial lesson. Water safety is not just about ensuring the tap runs clear or that the drinking water has been purified. Rather, it is about ensuring that every system in a hotel, resort, or cruise ship is flawlessly maintained, even those out of sight. Yet, travelers do not always have influence over the upkeep of these massive complexes, which are often reliant on staff and management to adhere to strict guidelines. That is precisely why some experts, such as Legionella specialists at an organization called HydroHawk, are encouraging people to add an inexpensive and compact test kit to their suitcase. These kits are designed to reveal the potential presence of Legionella bacteria in mere minutes. By swabbing a shower head, hot tub surface, or other water outlet, travelers can quickly assess if they are at risk. Going on holiday should be a time to relax and enjoy, not worry about hidden health risks, says HydroHawk's Chief Executive Officer, Greg Rankin. Indeed, these concerns might not be the first thing on your mind when you picture reading a novel by a sunlit pool. Yet the peace of mind that comes from conducting a quick test might be the difference between a carefree holiday and a frightening dash to the local emergency ward. And that brings us to one of those questions that might have never occurred to you. How can you recognize suspicious water conditions? And how can you quietly protect yourself if you choose not to bring a test kit? Here are a few valuable pointers. Run taps and showers for a while upon arrival. If possible, allow hot water to flow for several minutes before use. This flushes out any stagnant water that may harbor bacteria. When hot water is not used for days, the temperature within the pipes might linger in that hazard zone between 20 and 45 degrees Celsius. Keep an eye on the clarity of the water. While Legionella cannot always be seen, rust or sediment could be a sign of poorly maintained plumbing. If your room has a hot tub or whirlpool bath, confirm that it is properly disinfected. Ask the hotel staff if you are uncertain. Monitor ventilation systems in your room. If an air conditioning unit appears moldy, dusty, or seldom cleaned, politely request a different room. Remember that many hotels follow rigorous health and safety protocols, especially in countries with strict legislation. In places with less robust regulations or older infrastructures, the risk may be higher. No one wants to greet the day's sunshine in the morning, only to spend the evening battling an uncontrollable fever. And while travelers can adopt basic water safety habits, the onus ultimately rests on property managers to keep their plumbing and water systems safe for public use. To keep you fully engaged in this conversation, let us go deeper into how Legionella thrives. Imagine a hotel operation that only opens for peak tourist season. During the off-season, the facility might be nearly abandoned, with minimal occupancy. By the time guests arrive, the water in some pipes has been stagnant for many weeks, and if the plumbing has not been regularly flushed, the bacteria can multiply, hidden and unobserved, waiting for the next unsuspecting occupant. Then take the example of air conditioning cooling towers, which can involve large reservoirs of water. If the staff do not periodically cleanse or treat these towers with antibacterial agents, the air conditioning could circulate a light flood of contaminated droplets into the building. Guests might think of it as a refreshing wave of cool air, but in reality, it might be carrying the seeds of infection. We also have to consider that summer months are prime time for Legionella growth. Warmer temperatures outside often lead to an elevated baseline temperature in water systems. Meanwhile, travelers flock to tropical getaways, potentially exposing themselves to facilities that have not ramped up their maintenance schedules in time for the influx of guests. So, you might ask, this is terrifying. Should I cancel my holiday? The answer from experts is a reassuring no. Instead, they encourage awareness, not avoidance. The likelihood of contracting Legionnaires' disease remains relatively low in well-maintained environments, and many hotels around the globe handle water safety fairly responsibly. But as we have learned from Donna's case, tragedies do happen, and the repercussions can be enormous. Undiagnosed, the infection can intensify and spread quickly, especially in older individuals or those with compromised immune responses. In extremely severe cases, it can be fatal. At this point in the story, you might be feeling a sense of shock, or perhaps you are scanning your own mental list of past travels, wondering if you ever stayed in a place that might have put you at risk. If you are discovering this kind of revelatory information for the first time, we hope you will pause to consider the importance of vigilance. We want to offer a quick invitation here. If this discussion resonates with you, we encourage you to support our channel and share this vital message with friends and family members who might be traveling soon. A single act of caution might spare them from the ordeal that Donna endured. Let us return to the distressing details for a moment. Donna was so severely stricken that her doctors placed her in an induced coma on the 11th of June to stabilize her rapidly failing lungs. She lay unconscious for 2 long, excruciating weeks. When she finally awakened on the 25th of June, she needed to be briefed on the significance of her illness. Legionnaire's disease was, quite literally, overwhelming her body's systems. The side effects and recovery from sedation alone can be difficult, but to learn that the root cause is connected to something as mundane as water droplets is staggering. As travelers, we have grown used to meticulously checking flight deals, reading hotel reviews online, emphasizing how comfortable the bedding is or how appetizing the breakfast buffet might be. Rarely do we ask, how often does this hotel flush its water system? How frequently do staff test for Legionella? Do they maintain their hot tubs year-round, or only during peak season? Yet these questions matter, sometimes more than we ever realized. What happens next for Donna? Thankfully, with medical attention and rest, most patients can recover from Legionnaire's disease, although some face long-term issues with lung capacity or general weakness. The disease can cause such a brutal assault on the lungs that regaining full strength may take quite some time. As for how she became infected, local authorities in Crete, together with health officials, promptly opened an investigation. While the hotel in question is cooperating, there is no confirmation on whether the presence of Legionella was discovered in the premises. Even so, the story itself stands as a wake-up call for travelers everywhere. Now, let us examine the recommended small item that might make all the difference if you find yourself in a region known for higher Legionella incidence, or if you have any suspicion about water quality. HydroHawk, among other companies, offers a rapid testing kit for Legionella that produces results in as little as 25 minutes. You swab an area such as a shower head or faucet, run it through the testing solution as instructed, and await a color-coded outcome. If it is negative, you can breathe a sigh of relief. If it is positive, you will know that it is time to alert hotel personnel and perhaps insist on a different room or establishment. You might be thinking, does anyone really carry a test kit on vacation? The suggestion may sound extreme at first, but consider the peace of mind. It is no different from carrying a compact first aid kit or a supply of motion sickness medication just in case. The Legionella test kits themselves are not pricey compared to the cost of a holiday. For something around £25.99, securing your health might prove a prudent investment if you frequently travel or have a respiratory condition. One might also wonder, is Legionnaire's disease truly that widespread? Official numbers vary depending on which health organization you consult, but the consensus is that many instances go unreported or are misdiagnosed as a severe pneumonia of unknown origin. Travelers often return home feeling unwell, attributing their malaise to a random bug, and doctors might treat them without investigating the root cause. In the grand scheme, though, it remains an uncommon illness for the general population. That said, the threat is very real and can be devastating for those who do contract it. The symptoms themselves can begin subtly. At first, you may notice only a mild headache or muscle aches. You might attribute fatigue or low-grade fevers to jet lag or mild dehydration. But over the course of a few days, the cough can deepen, fevers can spike to alarming heights, and breathing may become labored. If at that point a misdiagnosis occurs, patients can rapidly deteriorate without proper antibiotic therapy. This is especially dangerous in older adults or those with pre-existing respiratory problems. For travelers looking to reduce the fear factor, knowledge is the greatest ally. Be aware of the water systems around you. If you sense something off, for example, an unpleasant smell from the shower or discolored water, do not shrug it off. If you notice a hot tub is rarely used or poorly maintained, avoid it altogether. Talk to hotel management if you suspect anything unusual in their plumbing or air conditioning. Although none of us want to be overly suspicious while on holiday, it is a small step to ensure your stay does not turn into a nightmare. Meanwhile, for hoteliers and cruise operators, it is a stark reminder of their responsibility to thoroughly inspect and maintain their facilities. Public health guidelines often mandate frequent water testing, but not all locales enforce such regulations with equal rigor. That is why travelers should not rely entirely on the property's procedures. A quick swab test provides personal reassurance. In the bigger picture, experts hope that Donna's highly publicized scare will encourage more vacationers to keep themselves alerted to the dangers of Legionella. If you are still plugged in and curious about exactly how to minimize your risk, we have a few final tips to share. If you have access to a kitchen or bathroom sink upon arrival, let the hot tap reach its maximum temperature and let it run for several minutes. Steam from a rarely used tap might be a culprit if Legionella has multiplied in the pipes. Watch your children closely if they are frolicking near faucets or water features that seldom get used, as kids might be more vulnerable. Check if the establishment publishes any official certifications of water safety, or if they have posted inspection results. Some conscientious hotels take pride in announcing that their water systems are up to date. Be attentive to your own health. If, within the first few days of your trip, you start having fevers, chills, or a persistent cough, do not wait. Seek medical advice promptly and make sure you inform health professionals that you have been traveling. Another essential step is communication. Share your experiences with fellow travelers. If you encountered a poorly maintained area at a resort, mention it in feedback or reviews, but do so constructively to encourage improvement and to warn others. If you tested water on the spot and found no problem, that reassurance might also be helpful for future guests. In many ways, this story is larger than one individual's medical scare. It is a revealing look at how seemingly perfect vacation hotspots can harbor serious hazards when routine hygiene is neglected, especially in times of soaring temperatures or inconsistent usage of facilities. At the same time, it highlights the collaborative effort needed from tourists, hotels, local authorities, and the broader health community to minimize these cases. As we approach the final stretch of our discussion, let us circle back to that harrowing image of Donna in the hospital, surrounded by the hum of machines monitoring her heartbeat. A restful vacation was all she wanted. Instead, for weeks, she saw only the sterile walls of an intensive care unit. It was only once she regained consciousness that her doctors explained the near miss she had experienced, and all because of bacteria in the wrong place at the wrong time. If you have found this deep exploration helpful or eye-opening, feel free to send this information along to someone you know who is planning a vacation. Sharing knowledge is one of the simplest and most powerful ways we can keep each other safe, whether it is about a hidden health risk like Legionnaires' disease or any other unexpected danger that might crop up while traveling. If you have not done so already, you can also subscribe to stay updated on more revealing insights and safety tips. Ultimately, no one wants to pause the fun of a holiday to worry about little-known infections. But by turning our attention briefly to these dangers, we become empowered to enjoy our adventures without fear. The next time you or a loved one is zipping up that suitcase, eager to board a plane to some sun-kissed coastline, take a moment to consider whether that small, unassuming water testing kit deserves a place between the sunscreen and your favorite novel. A touch of preparation can transform potential peril into peace of mind. After all, every traveler deserves the simple joy of a carefree journey, free from concerns that the refreshing shower overhead might be harboring an invisible threat. Travel safe, and may your next holiday be as blissful as you have always imagined.